Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Viking Academy podcast. Today, we have Erik Horbacz on the podcast. Now, Erik is a uh, startup tech guy. He's got tons of business experience, but the thing that I want to talk to him about on this podcast, in which we go quite deep on, is what he's got going on in Corvia AI, Corvia.ai. He is taking an ancient technology, coupling it with modern technology to help us heal ourselves, our minds, our emotions, and our bodies. And he's using it through song. It's incredible. And for me, as a heavy metal drummer and singer, and an absolute music enthusiast, and for someone who is constantly exploring myself, this is like nirvana for me. This is a fantastic podcast. We explore all sorts of ways that he's using this to clear up past traumas and help you actually create your future. It's really powerful. I think he's just on the beginning phases of this. We're probably going to have another podcast with him in the future. That's what I want to do. I want to see how things are going. And there's also a way for you to actually get involved and use this technology for yourself as well. We dive into the podcast. So if you're interested in seeing how old technology and new technology are coming together to heal and to help us create a new future, this is the podcast for you. So there we go. Let's go explore. Mr. Horbacz, how are you?
I'm terrific, brother. How are you?
Awesome, man. We just before we got on here, I was trying to go, okay, like, how do you pronounce your last name? Because mine's the same. People always totally screw up my last name. My mother-in-law still can't pronounce my last name. She goes, "Oh, Solbakken." I'm like, no, it's Solbakken, Mom. Like, what's wrong with you? You can't get it right. But in Norwegian, it's Solbakken. Your name, you said there was three different pronunciations. Tell me all three again.
I would the Jersey boy in me would have said your name Selbacken.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So for my name, the way that I grew up saying it was Horback, which is super
Or
Jersey. Horback.
Horbach. Horbach.
Yeah. Yeah. But the a Horbach is a little bit more, I guess, like moving more towards proper English. And then the Scandinavian Polish is Horbacz.
Yeah. Horbach.
Horbacz.
Horbach. Yeah. Well, let's call it the Horbach. Okay, dude. You and I met through an interesting connection. And then we started talking about what you have going on. And I'm like, holy crap, I want to have you on the Viking Academy. So tell me more about what you're doing. Cause like that's just like what you're up to right now, I think is incredible.
Oh man. There's a gazillion ways I could take that. Let's start with I think you're referring to the AI project
Yeah,
mostly,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. The music project. Yeah.
The music project. So simply what we discovered is that you could use melody and frequency using AI to deliver a song of you. And so we use cognitive behavioral therapy prompts and different methodologies to pull out we're trying to answer the question, if you were a song, what would you sound like?
That's beautiful.
Right.
Dude,
Yeah.
that is like as a heavy metal gets like I'm a heavy metal band, right? So I love music. I love every type of music. If you were a song, what would you sound like? Is like music to my ears. That's beautiful.
Which I like the fun part about that is that you sound different every day. You sound different every moment, right? So you have like an endless amount of sound coming through you all the time. Every emotion, every feeling, every experience that you've ever had, the grief you might go through, the joy, the pain, the like wild I don't know, having a baby, right? Like that is an experience that you might want to capture in a song or a moment of you experiencing that experience. And that's something that AI can do very well now.
If if it's more like a movie is what you're talking about. The person is a movie going around. Is a one song the AI will grab a song and say, "Here's a snapshot picture of you as of this moment," or does it like how do you unpack an entire human being's experience into one song? Do you know what I mean? Like that would be like make Beethoven's Fifth Symphony look like kindergarten.
Yeah. Let me give you two approaches.
Okay.
One is like the technological approach. That's really exciting. It's a project that we're working on. And the other one is more of the analog approach. The analog approach being we're working with like addiction recovery centers, coaching, anyone that really like helps people move through their life intentionally or move through grief or development. And so how do you capture that? AI is really great at walking you through cognitive behavioral therapy or different like modalities around psychology. And in doing so, you grab the emotion and the beliefs and the experience. And then if you work with the AI, if you train the AI properly, you can create an output of that experience tied to the beliefs, tied to the emotions, and that output is basically the story of the moment of your life, when whatever that experience is, with the deep emotion attached to it. And then in creating a story, then it can create more of a like a poetic version of it or like a spoken word piece. And that spoken word piece turns into lyrics. And then the AI is very good at recognizing the emotion behind the lyrics in order to understand exactly what tone and melody to put behind it. And you can be specific. Like let's say I'm feeling like I don't know, maybe I'm expressing something about nature and being a man, and maybe it spits out like a beautiful country song of my experience of being in nature and riding a horse or something like that. But in the end, it's like it takes like the once you get down to the heart of it, once you dump like your emotional experience into the song, what we're using it as a guided meditation. So almost like so imagine creating a song that the lyrics came from you, the story came from you, the emotions came from you, and you can read the lyrics that you created at the same time as your body and your mind is listening to the frequency and the melody of that experience. It taps you into that exact emotion that you wanted to express or the exact emotion that you were feeling in that moment. So it becomes wildly cathartic.
You're like taking uh, current technology coupled with, shall we call it, ancient expression of the human condition being music, right? When we were in the caves and we're banging on drums, right? And we created all these songs and songs move us emotionally and the rest of it. But you're taking the AI technology with the ancient technology of music and coupling it with our own emotional, psychological state, and you're using those two as a tool to help heal people. And that's the thing that I was like, this is wild, man. Like this is like taking the old with the new to solve an age old problem, which is the human mind, right? It's the mind and the emotions and all the, being a human is hard. Like it's hard, right? But the fact that you're using AI in this specific methodology is what I was so excited about, and which it resonates with the Viking Academy. It's like exploring yourself to figure out who you are, why you're here, and what you're here to do. And this is like using this technology, this AI technology, in the way to help heal ourselves. That's that's when my brain exploded, and it's still exploding as you're explaining this. Like, how the hell
Yes.
did you drop into this? Like that? Like, wow.
Yes. I'll share the whole story.
Yeah.
Um, the way that I've come to frame it, and this is just from doing my own inner work, is that oftentimes, especially probably as a man, women are probably operate a little bit differently, but um, becoming aware of yourself usually starts intellectually. Right? We'll be like, okay, here's the thoughts or the beliefs that I have going on. Well, maybe it starts with here's the problems in my life, right? Let me understand what's creating all of that. So working through psychologically, right? So there's a psychological maturity that can happen. You go one level deeper, and there's the emotional part. So oftentimes we can tackle the psychological maturity and moving through psychological I don't know, we call them traumas or events in our lives that are that shape us, that create who we are today. Um, but underneath that, there's the emotional frequency part of it. And just like we have psychological patterns, we have emotional patterns. And those emotional patterns are really a big part of what creates who we are and what we create in the world. Our environment, like our lives, are really created in large part by our emotional patterns. So how do we attack emotional maturity? So if once we put it into song, then you can start tapping into the emotional frequency of the psychological work that you were already doing on yourself. So it just takes it down just that next level. It goes deeper into the somatic, right? The physical. Because once you tap into the psychological and you can mature psychologically, and then when you can mature emotionally, so you're not stuck in like the toddler phase. I have two young boys, and when they're going through their toddler phases, I was keenly aware of how much I operated like a toddler in like my business or relationships. And so, and once I got really aware of how I was operating like a toddler and recognizing this is an emotional pattern that I didn't move through when I was a toddler, right? Okay, so let's work on maturing myself so that I can be there for my boys when they're working through their big emotions. Um, so I think that, and once I started seeing that, I started seeing it everywhere. It's like we walk around the world, you start seeing people as a toddler, as soon as I had a toddler, and or at least when they come out in their toddler phase, right? Whatever, when they hit something, like the biggest one I see, especially in business, is the I don't wanna, right? How many times did you get like going into a project and you're just like, I don't wanna, right? That's a very toddler response to doing something a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're moving down, and maybe we can get to this part later, but there's a third maturity, which is in the physical body. And so these are the places that I've been going after in my curiosities in business, is those three maturities. And if you want, I can share the origin story of the music product, and maybe hopefully that might lead us into some of the other stuff.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's definitely do that. I was just writing a bunch of notes down here in terms of, you know, the mind, the emotion, and the body. Like that's just so it's the mind, and then we get into the emotions, and then we get into the physical body, right? And so
Yep.
you're this process you're doing. I do want to talk about the recovery part too, because like in helping people in addictions and the rest of it, because I'm a recovered alcoholic myself, so very curious on what you're doing with that side. But again, more to the Scooby Doo ending. Like, how did you fall into this? And then I want to dive into more of the technical aspects of it.
So I'll bring you back to 2020, COVID. I was just ending. I was building a mobile gaming company, like studying the psychology of gaming and all of that. And I had to wrap up that company during COVID. And I had some capital from building businesses and a bunch of curiosities. So I just started going wherever my curiosities led me. And also, I wanted to make bets, right? So I would ask big questions around how can I invest my time, energy, and money that is most aligned with my curiosities and who I'm trying to become. Or, my kids were very young at the time, 6 month old. So it's like, what contribution can I make to the world was like a big question there. And at the same time, I was deep into AI and blockchain and trying to understand human value and human potential, and started writing quite a bit just for fun and just like following my curiosities as I was placing my investment bets. Um, as I kept going with that, the writing kind of evolved into a whole bunch of documents that were super scattered. So it was me following my curiosities, using myself as a guinea pig in a lot of different ways. And then as I hit the edge, I would write and then hit the edge again and write and hit the edge again and write. And that process unfolded in what I can only call today is the beginning of a spiritual awakening. And so the years went by. I was still focused on my curiosities, but also supporting entrepreneurs and building businesses and investing. And I like to come at life like I'm not a victim, right? Right. Of course, I don't want to be a victim, right? So I'm creating all of this. It is my thoughts, it is my emotions, it's the patterns, it's the things I'm creating. And through my writing, I kept waking up to certain things. And as I was waking up to certain things, I was dismantling so much of my life. Dismantling it. I had businesses fall apart. I had like huge investment losses. I had partnerships taking and stealing technology. that like was crushing. And then in 2024, I had my year was sandwiched between a huge business betrayal and a separation and divorce. And so it was like the whole dark night of the soul experience, about as deep as it gets. And then towards the end of the year, um, I was looking for different AI tools to help me move through a lot of the grief and move through a lot of like the stuck resentment or the stuck betrayal and just like, man, this is just like a dark time, right? And I already had quite a toolbox going on from all the other work that I've done. So I was able to, I think, grab a hold of the different technological tools that was helping me personally. And one of them was um, using AI as a mirror. So just like creating my own AI prompts to bounce myself off of. And it was interesting because that's where I started like, okay, yeah, I'm recognizing all the changes I'm making mentally. I'm recognizing like all the different beliefs I'm coming to recognize about myself, how I created this in my life, how I created that in my life. Here's some self-betrayal over here. And even though I was seeing it all, I was still feeling the same way. And then so I started trying to figure out how can I take the way that I'm bouncing myself off of AI and how can I hit more like an emotional resonance? And I had a friend of mine inspire me to um, turning it into, he was doing poetry and I was never much of a creator in that way. And so I started turning my story into short stories, so I can like kind of see my story as a third person with
Hmm.
AI giving me back my story, but adding like the emotional depth to it. And as I did that, I was like, oh, okay, I felt that. And then it evolved from being a short story to like spoken word piece to, okay, let's turn this into lyrics and then grab and put together some of the AI music tools out there and see if I can create a song. And so, again, another buddy of mine inspired me to use a service called sunoai.ai, which is like a badass AI music generating tool. They make like Grammy Award nominated, like they're amazing songs. Like you won't know that it is made from AI, right? Um, and so I started taking these cognitive behavioral therapy prompts, these ways I was helping myself move through a lot of this grief, trying to understand myself, trying to like move through it. Like, okay, let me learn the lessons I need to learn and move through this as fast as I can because I have a family, I have things to do. It was like, let's just go. And so I started taking my experiences and putting them into song. And very quickly, like what I noticed in my experience through doing the inner work that I've done is that as soon as I become aware of a pattern or something about myself, it could take like 6 months before I actually see change. It's like you become aware. It's like I'm probably going to get this wrong. You might know way better than I do, but it's unconscious, incompetent,
Hmm. Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
consciously incompetent, and then that goes, those four stages. I wish I could rattle them off right now, but I can't. Do you know it?
Yeah. Yeah. You're unconsciously incompetent. Then you become consciously incompetent.
That's right.
Then you you have to get to a point where you're consciously competent, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, yeah.
And then, well, consciously competent is, and then
You're
the last of
consciously
them,
incompetent, then you're consciously incompetent, and then you're consciously competent.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So you're
Uh,
unconsciously incompetent, then you're unconsciously yeah, that's it. But I know what you're saying. Yeah.
yeah. It's like you don't know what you don't know, and then you find out what you didn't know, and then you fumble through that for a little bit until it becomes a new norm for you when you design the way you want to be, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, um, so that could, let's say that that's like a 6 month or 8 month process for me. I noticed like change takes time, and you got to have some grace in it. Um, So I started taking my experiences and putting them into song in this particular way, using the intellectual cognitive behavioral therapy, um, and creating lyrics, and then those lyrics turning them into songs that matched the melody, just like we were talking about. And what I noticed was that I would read the lyrics and listen to the song so that I would have a full body somatic kind of like emotional experience from listening to the song and reading the lyrics. And I started noticing changes in weeks. So something that might take months of trying to reprogram something in me, all of a sudden weeks, I would be a totally different person. Like the triggers wouldn't happen anymore. Like the thought processes would completely change. Like I meditate and I'll sit there and watch the thoughts. Okay, this is one that's come up quite a bit, right? So let's address it. And I would address it in this particular way. And next thing I would know, they wouldn't come up anymore. I did this enough, and I did it enough through grief too, the grief cycle, like actually working myself through grief, and working myself through that cycle using song, an AI generated song, and cognitive behavioral therapy. Like, and in weeks, all of a sudden, I would realize, like, wait a minute, like I moved from here to here, and now I found peace. And
And
by
quickly, and it happened quickly as opposed to over
quickly
years of therapy, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I would share kind of my story and where I was at with people, and they would just be in awe. They're like, wait a minute, it doesn't make any sense. Like this happened to you just a few months ago. Like, how is that even possible? And honestly, without bouncing myself off of other people and then them being like, Eric, like that, like, how are you good?
Yeah, how are you still walking? How are you still
Yeah.
functional? How are you still managing to be operational in the world? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And then it just clicked. It was like, man, this is powerful. And not only is it like, and I have to see if this works for others. So me and my business partner, who him and I were now doing both of this, doing this together, him in just different ways, we decided to start doing workshops and sharing the methodology with people with the intention of learning enough around the system and process to create the song, to create technology that can do it very quickly for people. And so in the workshops, we'll guide people through a song creation process based off of their experience. And then they'll have the same cathartic kind of release. Because that's what it is. It is a release. You know, it's taking those stuck emotions and allowing them to move through you.
Well, that's what I was coming to the realization as you were talking about this. I'm going, I if anybody's been around long enough on this planet, you've probably done some therapy or you've worked with a therapist. And you talking with the therapist, it's a lot of head knowledge and they can talk you through things. You can get it, okay, I get it intellectually, I understand it. And that's kind of those three levels you're talking about, the mind, the emotion, and then the physical, the body, and mind, emotion. Yeah, the mind, emotion, and the body. You could get this head knowledge, you understand what's going on with the therapist, but it takes forever and sometimes it never goes away and you keep repeating the same conversation. But it's this stuck energy that's in your body that is when the trauma hits us, it gets stuck and it gets this bad thing, it gets stuck there. You found a way to basically unstuck the energy
That's right.
by tapping into the emotion of the traditional, shall we call it the ancient song, the songs that move us. Anybody knows, think of a song that moves you. Like, there's a song, like, it may sound really corny, but I don't give a shit. This is my podcast. I'll tell it as it is. Whitesnake has this song called Now You're Gone, right? And it starts off, Now You're Gone. And literally every time there's a weeping guitar from Steve Vai. He's got this screaming, weeping guitar. And when that song kicks in, that first few bits, I start crying. Like tears come down my eyes. And so there's like an emotional release in there. So this like song is it's so ancient, right? It's part of us. But you've found this way to unlock it. So is it the release of the energy, and it almost sounds like you've connected the three layers together so there's alignment now instead of it. I understand it in my head, but my emotions haven't caught up. And even if my emotions can catch up to my head, my physical body still thinks it's got trauma. But you're managing to actually align all three and release the music. Like I would like when you're doing when you're doing any work with anybody, do they like break down and start bawling their eyes out when that happens? Because it would seem to me like
90% of the time.
yeah, 90%, you'd have this total cathartic, just you lose it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But
And not only, and we do these workshops and there could be as small as like 4 or 5, 6 people in them. And one person will make a song and everybody in the workshop will have an emotional experience. So it not only is it helping that one person kind of move through that energy, move through those emotions, but it's also creating a like a group um what's the word? Like a it creates like this group dynamic where everyone is there supporting them moving through it. So it's not just healing the person, but it's healing the group. And
Is it an empathy thing that goes on? Is it like group think? Like that happens
it's
there? Or because for you to have an emotional response to something, there has to be something inside you that you resonate with. Do you know what I mean? Like you have to be going, this resonates with me at some level, as opposed to I'm feeling empathy. Yeah, well, true. If you feel empathy for someone, it's because empathy is different than sympathy. You feel sympathy for somebody is different than empathy. Empathy is like, I know what you're going through because I've gone through it. But is it because you've brought this group together on, not the same group of people? They don't know each other, but they still have this response?
well, I think I think that because it's the way that we pull the story out of somebody
Okay.
they have to share their story, share what the feelings that is. So they get the story, the intellectual story is there, which you could do with somebody just having a regular conversation, but it's still up here. And once you transmute that into emotion, once you transmute it into melody, it almost triggers empathy
Right.
because the emotions there behind it.
So you've got this way now, you've tapped it. So through your own experience, through all the pain and heart, and I've seen this in my life too. Like I look at all the shitstorm that I've gone in my past, and I realize I went through that for a reason. Like my alcoholism and my drinking and going, losing businesses and all that stuff was done for a reason so that I was able to help somebody else in the future. So you've experienced all this incredible heartache. It's like it sounds like not you didn't get punched, you got punched, kicked, dragged, thrashed from multiple different angles all at the same time to force you to find this solution that you're now able to bring to other people, right? It's like
Actually,
that was the purpose of it. You can look back and did you look back on and go, "Oh, that's why I went through all that shit, is so that I could have found this to help other people."
absolutely. It's like I had no idea. First of all, we didn't intend to do this to turn it into a business. And even the way that I look at business is more community centric, right? So we're bringing this to people, but also inviting people along for the ride. So the only reason why we turned it into a business was because I recognize, well, one, I have an entrepreneurial background, so I know the lean startup and how, the way you test stuff. And I've done the venture studio game where you're throwing things against the wall and seeing what sticks. This particular project was it helped me so much that I wanted to, it was part curiosity, part responsibility. It's like, oh, wait, I should share this and see if it helps other people, do it in a small container. And then once you see it actually working, once you see the impact, it's like, well, there's the throat against the wall and it sticks. It's like, yeah, there it is. And then so it was just an obvious next step is to like figure out how to turn it into a business and
So
create.
there's a couple different angles I'd like to go down on this. Is one, you've now created this tool. um I'm curious how you're bringing it to the business, like how you're turning it into a business model so that it can reach more people. And then I also specifically want to talk about how you're applying it to the recovery. But let's go down the first one where we're talking about the business model. Like how have you brought it out so far? Like how can people find this, first of all? Because this sounds like, man, this is like the what's the word I'm looking for? I was having a meeting earlier today with a group of business owners. I do a mastermind call once every 2 weeks with a group of business owners from around the world, and we've been supporting each other for about 6 years now. And the conversation was going around kind of like we used to have what was the freemium model on the internet, and now we're getting to the point where information and knowledge is going to be almost democratized completely because of AI. Is going to have this knowledge base that's going to be it's going to be everywhere. The only thing that's going to be available to actually the business model of the future is going to be our individual personalities, like, and that human interconnection, like, because everything else is going to get taken care of. So we were starting to talk about these different businesses that we have, and we're like, well, forget it. There's no point in selling my course anymore because eventually it's going to be out there anyways, right? So I'm going to package it up differently. With this, how are you bringing it together in a business model that makes sense? Do you know what I mean? Like that's going to be
Yeah.
able to not be or you could be cutting edge and bringing this out, and then it gets completely democratized, and it goes, you know what I mean, and then spills out. Like, how do you get around that?
So this is where we're actually playing on another edge, right? This is a different edge. Like so,
Yeah.
um, again, like I showed, I played around in like the venture studio world where we had a group of people and like a couple developers, and we come up with ideas and see what stuck. The I recognized a while ago that that was so broken. Like most of the startup space from the last decade or so, from my limited experience anyway, the training you get to build a company tends to come from the incubators, they come from the accelerators. The methodology that the incubators and the accelerator use, like the lean methodology, um, they all are taught by somebody, right? All of these ideas, all these programs, the processes, they're all taught by somebody. But if you look up the chain as to where the information and education is coming from, like when I went to school, there was no entrepreneur like majors, right?
No,
That
no, there
wasn't
wasn't. No,
really,
there wasn't.
right.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah, not.
Yeah. Now there is, but they're still teaching these types of methodologies. So what I noticed though was, okay, we're learning this methodology that has a 5% success rate in raising capital. And then even after you raise capital, what's the success rate of actually taking it to the next level, right? So it's like we're learning methodologies proven to fail.
Bingo. Yes.
And like I'm like, okay, that doesn't make like the ADD way that my brain works looks at that and like that doesn't compute. But I'm still gonna follow it because you guys told me to. But where does the education come from? If you look upstream, it comes from the institutions, right? They have limited partners that need to have some sort of not guarantee, but they need to feel good about where they put their money. So if the institutional guys come together and like, okay, well, we got this program and this program has this particular success rate, which is going to increase our success rate, which is going to increase your capital, then it makes us look good. It's all just this game of looking good. So it's just like as a startup, you're building to tell a story, to raise capital, to build more, to continue to tell your story, to raise more capital, right? So the game becomes completely rigged in the effort of adding more, creating capital, creating wealth.
Yes, yes. It's like putting guardrails on like what they're doing is the methodology is set up as a guardrail like you're bowling. Say you're bowling and you don't put the little guardrails up for your kids. Have you ever done that where they so
Yeah,
the ball will not go in the gutter, right? So they're
yeah,
bringing up the guardrails, but you're bowling with bowling balls the size of a fucking pickup truck. And so as it rolls down, it just mows right over the guardrails. But the guardrails are there. It makes us feel good. But they don't
makes us
do
feel good.
anything. But they don't do anything because this bowling ball is like like it's just going right over the rails, right? Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the solution? It's like, yeah, so we're raising money, we're doing all, and not only that, but if you're a type of person that wants to build something and that's mission driven, like if you're looking towards the thing you want to build to serve some part of humanity or to solve an actual problem, when you're scraping in a survival state for cash flow and capital consistently, you will lose sight of that mission.
Of course. Of
It's
course.
it, right?
You've been reading my mail. You've been reading my mail, dude. Yeah,
Right.
we could go down a whole conversation about failed businesses and all the rest of that and the stress that happens under that. So
Yeah.
for this though, then what was the approach that you've taken so far?
So the solution that was playing with, right, this is part of the edge, was community centric, right? Creating a studio or a venture studio type of atmosphere that was community centric, meaning like, hey, we have this mission and we want to vocalize it loud enough in our immediate community just to attract the people that can make it move forward. And in doing so, you create energy and belief behind it. And when you start, like when we started, bringing in people to do these workshops, we were bringing in people from our entrepreneur community
Hmm.
first, right? There's people like a lot of them are just like very successful people, and we're like, hey, like we stumbled on this thing, we want to show it to you, and we want to keep showing it to you, until this thing like feels like it can turn into a business. So the foundation that what we discovered was the fuel that drives what we're doing is the workshops themselves. Um, and the reason for that is because uh, okay, one of the other pieces around the startup world that I recognize, especially over the last 3, 4, 5 years, is that, and I've had this happen to me building AI startup, is as soon as you start building something, one of the big dogs comes out and does an update, and the thing that you ideated, the thing that you built is now garbage, right? And this
Yep.
is across like I've talked to so many different entrepreneurs and investors that just like there was a period of time, I think it's still happening, but definitely in the last 2 years, where there was like a freeze state, right? It's like, well, okay, we know we got to go build some things, but we don't know what to build because everything's moving so fast, right? So there
Yeah.
was like this freeze state. And so on so with
Freeze as in freeze, everybody's frozen, not free as in, yeah.
freeze,
Yeah,
yeah,
freeze.
frozen,
Like everybody's staring, and that's what's like that's still kind of happening right now, especially globally, internationally. Everybody's in this frozen state. They're like, what are we gonna do? Like all this real estate sales up in Canada have basically gone flat because everybody's like freezing. They're just standing around going, what's gonna happen? What is Carney gonna do with Trump? I don't know. Like so everybody's frozen and scared, right? They're not doing anything, right?
right?
And so I totally see that in this space right now with AI. Like I said with my other group, we were saying, why would I sell my course when it's going to basically be cannibalized? My intellectual property is just going to go, right? So how
Yeah.
do I build a different type of business model? And that's what
So
you're
you're on it.
getting that you're yeah.
You're on it already with your like so what I started playing with is what's the new moat? What's the new moat? If the old moat was
Yes.
data and being the first to execute, being the first to deliver, then what's the new moat? And I think that when I first started playing with this, it was maybe new, but now I think it's pretty widely understood, or at least widely theorized, that the new moat is community. It's like-minded people working towards a similar mission.
Right. And this kind of ties into the whole concept of like I think it also addresses the whole nature of capitalism too. I think that comes to that's a whole nother topic. You know what I mean? Like instead
Yeah.
of it like it all becomes ours instead of it's theirs and we get to work for it, it becomes ours. So when you're creating a community and everybody comes together to build it for the right reason, it becomes I don't want to say communist because the communism has a whole bunch of horrible shit that is attached to it, but it's more communal. Like it's like everybody's working together. So there's like if built properly in my head, I see it being a very beautiful thing without it tipping over into a totalitarian state of communism or fascism or anything like that.
Yeah, well, we've seen some not just blips, but we've seen some massive actual progress in that. You look at I went from like studying mobile gaming and building a mobile game company, and then in 2020, following my curiosity, which led me to going deep down the blockchain rabbit hole and looking to discover like what is the next future of value, the new economic systems, and all of that.
Hmm.
And just by the nature of that rabbit hole, I had to make my way to the world of meme coins just because it was so fresh, so new, and so interesting. And because I was also playing around in this like community concept of like, okay, what if we were just community centric with the way that we build things? That's exactly what a meme coin community did, or like Friends with Benefits, or some of those NFT communities. Essentially, what they did was they used the power of the community, the power of belief to drive value. And that's a meme coin, right? So the way what I started doing in like this is 2020, 2021, when most people were looking at charts or most people were looking at the technology behind things, I was going into and inserting myself into like meme coin communities and trying to get a pulse of like the frequency of the community. And if it felt right, right? If you saw the engagement, if you saw the camaraderie, if you saw them working together to build something, then it was like this thing's going to go somewhere. I ended up jumping on uh, early meme coins that skyrocketed and made all an ungodly amount of money doing it just from studying the elements of community.
If the listener doesn't, what is a meme coin? Just so the listener understands what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a crypto, it's a token, it's a crypto
The
token
cryptocurrency. Okay.
with nothing behind it but
Nothing. Belief.
belief. Right.
That's the power of the human belief. The imagine, that's, everything we have in this world is made up except for the physical world. The physical world is real, but everything else that we've created, money, concept of everything from, that's the United States, that's France, that's, everything is all made up. It's all made up, and the only reason why it works is because we all believe it works. And so it's the power of belief is actually what created our entire world. Everything's made up. So these meme coins that you're talking about, it's not it's not a big leap. It's actually just a new expression of the same thing we've been doing since the beginning of time, since we were able to communicate with one another and create and come up with ideas. The minute I come up with an idea, if you and I agree on it, then all of a sudden it has power. If I come up with an idea and you say I don't believe in it, then it becomes I'm crazy. So this, you know what I mean? Like I have an
Yeah.
imaginary friend called Bob, and he's sitting here beside me, and everybody's looking at me going, Eric's crazy. There's no fucking Bob sitting here. But if everybody agrees that Bob is real and Bob is sitting beside Eric, all of a sudden it becomes real. Well, that's what a fucking border is. Like I'm looking across the ocean right now at the United States. What is that? Like, there's apparently an imaginary dotted line between Canada and the United States. It doesn't exist. It's fucking Bob. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
Bob. The only reason why it has power is because everybody believes in it.
Yeah.
So that power of belief creates value. So we're so that meme coin is that you saw value being created in a new currency because everybody believed in it. That's exactly why the dollar in the United States or the dollar in Canada has value is because we all believe it has value. There's no value in a dollar when you look at it. It's just a piece of paper and it doesn't even exist anymore on paper. It's on a number, on a blip on a screen, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the might of the US government, uh, like the war machine, is really what's behind the dollar.
But
The
it all started with a belief in a
Yeah,
concept known as money, which we created.
absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
it's all just made up. So let's get to the how are you modeling out this technology that helps people heal themselves as you're building it on community?
Yeah, so we're building a community around it. That's step one. And there's a rapid that we can thread that to this whole meme coin world too, because there is a trajectory. We have a roadmap for tokenization for the community. But again, the foundations of Corvia AI, which is the brand, is these workshops. It's helping people. It's helping people heal, helping them move through things. So we're charging a membership to be a part of the community and come in and do these workshops. And then through the community, through the workshops, we learn and then we take what we learn and we are building a tech product, a product where you can actually just very quickly go in and share yourself and you have a song of yourself.
Okay. And so in these, so it's your workshops is the, shall we call it the circle, the circle of awesome, I call it, because you're making money doing the workshops. You get more information on people where you're then able to iterate to create a better solution to be able to start a new workshop to get people. So, and you're just continually the flywheel, it's getting better and better. Ultimately, you want to have it so that you have an AI tool where people don't have to physically come to a workshop. They can access it online and be able to use it there, right?
Yeah, which is why community becomes the moat, especially when you're building technology, or at least this type of uh, application, right? Because it's like, okay, the technology itself is way behind the scenes, right? Like the
Okay.
NVIDIA, like they're doing, but when it comes to human application, how are we going to interface with the technology in unique ways? That's where the community becomes so essential because a community is like a surfboard. You can have an idea and let it live inside a community, like using AI music for healing. You can have that idea, have it live inside a community, and then plug in technology as it becomes available so that you're not beholden to one particular platform or one particular piece of technology. You can just ride using the community, you can ride the wave of technology, which is happening at neck break speed. So it's kind of the only way to do it without getting caught.
So you're not building your platform on any specific technology so that you don't get crushed then.
Yeah, it's like a good example of this being done, and it wasn't exactly community centric, but it's still a good example. Do you use Perplexity?
Oh yeah, I said if Google and Chat GPT had a baby, it would be Perplexity.
It's such a good tool, and they're getting better and better
Yeah,
all the
yeah, yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah. That's great.
But Perplexity just they're focusing on one thing. They want to get really good at research and reasoning, right? And as like their target is like, "Look, we just want to get good at this one thing." But if you look behind the scenes of Perplexity, they're pulling from ChatGPT, they're pulling from Gemini, right? They have all the big legacy models behind it fueling it, but they toggle between them, right? So they're not beholden to one thing. They're just going to
Mhm.
perfect the interface,
Right.
right? So that it's perfect. So the community becomes the foundations of the future of whatever that interface is going to be.
So when people come and work with you and go into a workshop and then they create, I'm very curious, like the process and for the listener too, it's like, how can they use this to help them heal themselves? I kind of want to understand that a little bit more. So I come in and I do a workshop with you. I take maybe one lifetime experience that I want to deal with or whatever. We go through your process. You create the song. I hear the song. I'm like having a complete emotional response. We'll call it the alignment of the mind, the emotion, and the body. We have an energy release. Am I healed or am I listening to it multiple times? Or like how what's the functional process of this? Like how does that work?
I think it becomes a tool in your toolbox.
So the song you download it on your iPad and you or your iPhone and you want to listen to it,
The not the ability to make the song,
the
right? So
ability.
you once you understand the prompting, and this is what we do in the workshops, right? Like,
Oh, sorry, dude. I totally misunderstood. So you're
yeah,
teaching people how to use the tool to create songs to help them heal themselves so that they have a tool. So it's not your feeding, you're not giving me a fit, you're not feeding me a fish. You're teaching me how to fish.
right. Yeah. You just come
Yeah.
in there and
Yeah.
yeah, it's like we're not trying to like if you look at like the mobile gaming model and all of that, like they want to build something that make you stay there. Like you just get stuck. It's like, let's build this thing so that you become addicted to this thing. It's like, no, if I'm doing my job right, you come to a workshop, we teach you how to make a song, and given the current tools of today that we teach you how to use, you can make that song a new one every week. You can make a new one every day. You don't need to come back to a workshop, although you probably will because they're profound and they're very helpful and the tools
Right.
are always changing, right?
Right.
So you just come into a workshop, we teach you how to do it, and it's yours.
Cool. And so then you're using, and then when I would use this tool, use this knowledge of how to build my own song, which I still think that's the fucking coolest thing ever. If you were a song, what you would you sound like? I mean, that is just for me joy. That's absolute joy. The Viking in me and this heavy metal dude is just like screaming right now. But I could use this
So
and
I got to
make
give credit. I got to
yeah,
give credit where credit's due for that. If you were a
yeah,
song, what would you sound like?
yeah.
Like I said, as we were building this and sharing it and gathering community members and interested parties, we got connected with some of the coolest people. And one of the guys that is now partnering with us is Keith Gard. He was Aerosmith's longtime manager.
Oh,
And this guy is just so tapped into that world of creativity. And he
oh,
just, dude, it's so cool. And when we first, I get like goosebumps when like I think about the conversations that we have together because this guy, it's so powerful. Um, he was taking what we were doing and he was like, dude, this is magic. Like this is incredible. He's like, not only is it that, but it's like, and then he was like sifting through it. He's like, and then he just said it. He goes, if you were a song, what would you sound like? And then boom, we're like, all right, tagline, it's going on the website.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. That's just, it's brilliant. So I have this skill set. So you're teaching, you're giving us the skill set. You're creating a community around this of people, the skill set of being able to use the tools currently right now that we have to make a song of an expression of an experience I had so that when I listen to it, it can heal my mind, my emotions, and my body. It's a healing tool, and it's a technique that you can use over and over again to help you actually heal yourself for the rest of your life. Like, so instead of you giving me a fish, like I said, for feeding me for a day, I learn how to fish so I can fish for the rest of my life.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Once you know how to make the songs, and the thing is, the more we do the workshops, the more we work with people, the more we it's all about prompting. It's how you talk to AI, how you train it. So the technology that we're creating is specifically niche, just like Perplexity and the way that they're doing it to these personalized song creation.
Now, here's a question. Have you gone down into the science slash spirituality explanation of why it works so well? Like why this creating and hearing, it's like almost like seeing yourself for the first time in a mirror. Imagine if you'd never seen yourself. ever. And then all of a sudden a mirror pops up and you see yourself for the first time and you actually see yourself. It would be an incredibly emotional experience. It's kind of like you're seeing your pain body for the first time in its rawest, purest form when you're listening to that song, and that's where that release happens, right?
If
It,
that's the if that's where you want to go with it, yeah. Because it's not just that. It's like sometimes it's hard for people to express joy, right? Sometimes it's hard for people to express like just pure happiness, right? So
yeah, you
actually,
see, I've never had a problem with that. See, that's
yeah.
my problem is say I don't get that, right? I don't get that part. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and the science behind it. So what we did was none of it has launched yet, but we started a podcast. We're just like compiling a bunch of it's this is the way that we've been doing the research and collecting data. And on the podcast, we've been intentionally bringing on psychologists, psychiatrists, people working like in deep consciousness, AI, um, somatic healers, uh, yeah, that type. And in that, we're gathering all the data and all the information around the science behind it. Because it is science. I mean, it's emotional alchemy. It's
I like that.
yeah,
That's a TM there all day long, man. That's a trademark right there. Emotional alchemy.
yeah. And I mean, you can get into like, Joe Dispenza type guys, like they're doing a great job at bridging spirituality and and science and what goes on in the brain and all of that. And there's a couple of different things. One is when you do something like a song creation like that, where you have to be vulnerable and you're doing it in a group, like that's immediate oxytocin, serotonin. Like you're getting all a flood of so many different beautiful, like feel good chemicals just from being inside that group. And you can just be inside that group and be a fly on the wall and still get the benefits.
Hence why when someone works on their song and they end up playing it, other people are having such an emotional, that's part of why they have that emotional response to it. Because they're okay.
Yeah.
This is all starting to make a lot more sense now. And
Yeah.
okay, so then you're doing workshops. So then well, first of all, where do you do these workshops and how can people find you to do these workshops with you? I mean, ultimately, I guess to reach more people is the plan to keep doing workshops and building it out more and more communities and having that as the core baseline. Because I would imagine that's the thing is like I do coaching for a company called Strategic Coach, and I also have a bunch of other businesses, the Accountant Success Formula, the Viking Academy. I do in-person coaching with groups of people. There's nothing like it doing that versus doing something online or doing something by yourself. Like it's a total different experience, right? Is the plan to keep doing that because of it's so powerful, being chest to chest or heart to heart to people when you do the workshops?
It feels essential. Like I'm doing,
Yeah.
we're doing talks and stuff, right? So in a couple of weeks, I'll be doing one for a men's group, like a really big online digital men's group, and it's all on Zoom. Well, we've done them in person. We did an in-person one with a family office event that where their more nonprofit arm was around. It was actually some of the addiction recovery stuff. It's like being someone of means who come from a family office, maybe like a second or third generation wealth. There is a lot of psychological kind of pain that comes along with that, a lot of addiction, and part of our intention going in there was to help create songs about that experience because it's hard to find people that can resonate with that,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
So there's some shared empathy there in creating a song. So we do the workshops in person, we do the workshops for groups, and we do them. If you go to Corvia AI and just plug in an email address, you'll get an invite to all of our workshops.
Cool. What's
Then you have to sign
how
up.
do you spell it again? How the Corvia?
Corvia
Okay.
AI, and then on that website, it's also we charge $200 a year to be a part of the group.
Yeah.
To
Okay.
and we don't charge a lot, mainly because we are just building a community. Like the intention is to build a community and help people heal. And of course, the benefit that we're getting on the back end is the experience of helping people heal through AI music so that we can build technology in
Right.
the future.
Right.
Yeah.
And so tell me more about the community and how that works. You know,
It's still it's
like
it's
so
just
what
budding.
do
This is
so
like a few months old here.
Cool. So the idea is like, are you getting together on a regular basis? Are you communicating with each other? Like, do you have your own private like Facebook group or what's going on?
We're getting right now. It's just the emails and invites, but the
Okay, cool.
all of that is in the works. Like we had
Yeah.
the admin and everything. All of that is being done right now. And um, the simple part of it is we have regular workshops, weekly workshops with different themes to create songs. So we're doing a men's theme, a women's theme, addiction theme. We're trying to. One of the things that we're really working ourselves towards right now, we have a couple of partnerships pending with addiction recovery centers.
Yeah.
And you asked about addiction recovery. The like the core of that is the emotional maturity, right? Is like tapping into those things that are really inside of you that are keeping you stuck and helping release those. But we really want to work very closely with the psychologists and the people doing that work to create very specific song prompts, which we haven't done yet, but create very specific song prompts for their community of
Yeah.
addiction.
Because having being in my own community of recovering alcoholics, it's the pains and the traumas of childhood and those things that you carry along is ultimately why we drank, right?
Yeah.
Then, you tie it to the fact that when we take a drink, the drink takes us because there's a mental obsession coupled with a physical allergy. Like physical allergy, as you take the first drink, now it creates craving, and that's how you get going. But it's that mind, emotional, body connection, which is exactly what you're talking about, that needs to be healed. But even people in recovery have been sober for a long time and they're going to AA and they're doing all of those things. This, what you're talking about right here, we're talking about deep core mining, like going even deeper to the core issue that it's not even in your conscious level, like it's on a subconscious level. Like the true traumas that really drive us are so sub under the conscious, and we don't know. Like people just don't know why they're acting that way. It would seem to me that this would drill a hole in and get down into those issues and release that energy without, maybe you don't even know what the specific trauma is, but it would seem to me that what you're telling me people are having the reaction to, that would release some of that. Yes or
That's
no?
Yeah, and that's what I've seen and experienced
Yeah.
myself. Yeah, and it's actually not, it's pretty logical, really. It's like the emotional patterns that we're used to is what make us comfortable, right? So that's our comfort zone, even though they're oftentimes suffering. So we're in this comfort zone of suffering, and even becoming aware of it isn't really doing anything for me because I'm still in this emotional pattern, right? So the emotional pattern takes over, which is me living in the past. And I'm not that, right? So in like using the AI, using the tools, using the music to bounce yourself off of, it's giving you an emotional mirror of that experience so that you're seeing it differently. And when you're seeing it differently, like and you're moving through that pattern, then you can then get to a place of now, right? So you're not living that past, you're not living that emotional pattern anymore. You're moving through it. Maybe it's temporary, it could come back, but then you have the song again to listen to. So that once you become now, right, then you can start building a completely different future. And that's where it gets really fun. And I've done this too. This is another edge piece, but there's like, what do you do when you release all of that, which is, this is not me, right? These are all the emotions that are stuck. This is the grief. This is the pain. This is the guilt that I'm addicted to. Like, this is all of this stuff.
Accumulation of past conditioning. This is my accumulation. Who I am today is
Yeah.
accumulation of all the past conditioning. Right.
Yeah. And then so then once we get to a place of just now where I'm not caught up with all of that stuff, I've moved through it. I understand it intellectually. I've matured that. I understand the beliefs and everything that goes behind it. And now I'm understanding the emotional frequency and the emotional pattern that's there. And I've moved through that. Then what?
Because
Then
you've released, but you've cleaned it, you've cleansed the channel. You're cleaning a channel out because that's that past, the past, shall we call, I hate this word is overused, but the past traumas, the things that have traumatized you that you're still carrying, you've cleaned that out. So there's that channel. Now you're a blank slate. Where are we going? Dude, where are
yeah.
we going? Like now you
Okay.
got me interested.
So this I've tested this a few times, and I've only shared this with a handful of people, but um So where are we going? So if you've ever listened to I don't know, like a Joe Dispenza thing or something like that, it's about tapping into creating your future is making sure that you're feeling exactly the state that you want to be in,
Mhm.
right? You're feeling the success, you're feeling the deep connection or the love that you were missing, right? You're feeling the relationship that you're trying to attract into your life. That's really hard to do because especially when we're living mostly up here. But if I use the same methodology, tweak it just a little bit so that I'm expressing what I want to feel and the experience I want to have, and you put that through the same system where then you get a melody and lyrics based off of that future experience.
Mhm.
And so I've done this using myself as a guinea pig. So then you create the song, and if you listen to it like a little ritual every day, it's there.
And now now you're starting to move and creating your future.
Yeah. And I've done it so much so as having an it working in a day and it working in a week. That's how fast that it manifests.
So that's you found a way to use the oh okay. Yeah. Did you see the penny drop there? It was like thunk.
Yeah.
You have taken you've taken the ancient technology of song coupled with the new technology of AI to turbocharge and enhance the law of attraction.
Thank you for simplifying it. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, you because that's what Joe's talking about. He's like the law of attraction. You must feel the
Yeah.
future you wish to have. You need to feel the person you want to be. And when you feel and have that focus that I am that person, the most powerful two words, I am that I am, the name of God. I am that I am. I am this is the current state of being. You then attract that future to your present moment. Like it attracts it to you. So that's, yeah, you've just basically taken the secret and put it on steroids
Using technology, which
using
is
tech,
modern
ancient and
and modern.
current and modern,
Yeah.
ancient and modern technology, put them together. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fucking cool.
So there's I'm using this methodology too to create the business,
Of course you would.
right?
Of course you would. Oh, okay. So I need to find a workshop to get my butt in there because I want to get in on this. This is like
Yeah.
awesome, man. Like it's like everything converge. There's a convergence I feel happening in my life, personal life, and it is just this convergence. It's this the past, the present, the future, and all these ideas are kind of they're starting to do this convergence on me where all of a sudden I'm starting to see things clearer about how my life is unfolding. And it's just it sounds like you're doing the same thing. It's just coming together like this, and it's coming to a like a focal point like this. And I think ultimately is my theory here is that we're moving towards an elevation in consciousness. That
Yeah.
the human condition is in dire need of a upgrade. We need an upgrade to human consciousness and the way we see the world because the way we see the world is the way we experience the world. And if we're going to survive on this planet, never mind thrive, like even if we don't blow ourselves up, we have to have an upgrade in consciousness. We need to upgrade our programming, and you're doing that, man. This work you're doing is absolutely critical and fucking cool. I gotta say that too. Like you've taken like it's not like oh I gotta go to therapy. No, I gotta go write another song. Like I gotta go
Yeah.
make another song. I gotta hear what I sound like. Right? Like
Yeah. The beauty, like I've always tried to like bridge myself between the world, like here, right? Ground myself in what's real. And let's create something very real that connects with people. But then also like I've always stretched as far as I can to the divine, right? It's like this I've always had that elongated kind of sense of being. And music, it's funny, music has always been healing. Like you take like Molly Cyrus, she's a singer-songwriter. She or is Molly Cyrus?
Miley.
Miley Cyrus, who's the she has $1 billion. Her brand's about $1 billion, right? Is she that big?
Oh, probably. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it is Molly Cyrus. Okay, yeah. So she creates a song. She's a singer-songwriter. She has an experience, whether it's in her relationships or her world, and she puts it into lyric and then she puts it into melody that comes through and channels through her. And because of that, it resonates with people. Because of that, like people will listen to it and like, oh, that hit. Like
Yeah.
that
And
was re
Taylor Swift, that's her modus operandi too. That's like all her experiences of her life. And she just,
Taylor Swift. That's who I was thinking of.
yeah.
I knew
Okay.
it was yeah,
Miley
Taylor
Cyrus is a
Swift.
little more edgier.
Yes,
She a bit of crass, that kid,
that's
Miley
right.
Cyrus, even though she's trying to be a little more refined lately. But Taylor Swift is the $1 billion. She's the biggest. She's the world's greatest CEO. Like in 2024, the world's in 2025, the world's greatest CEO. Right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Brand.
yeah, yeah.
The Taylor Swift brand. Yeah.
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 But
Yeah.
it truly is like if you have you watched what's that movie with Bradley Cooper, A Star is Born?
No, I haven't, but I saw the original
Um,
one.
okay, okay. Well, the new
Yeah.
one
With
with
Chris
Lady Gaga,
Christopherson. The Chris Christopherson and Barbara Streisand. That was the original.
I didn't even know there was an original.
Oh, dude, yeah, yeah. But that then you see, I'm just dating myself now, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. uh, in that movie, or at least in the new one, I don't know if it was in the original, but in the new one, there's one where Bradley Cooper goes to Lady Gaga and was like, "No, it's all about the message you have. Like, do you have something to say?" Right? And like that sparked her on her journey. Like, okay, I do have something to say, and I'm worthy of saying that thing,
Yeah.
right? And but Taylor Swift, she's got something to say, and it resonates with people, and it connects with people, and it built a community around her that's worth $1 billion. Then there's the Beatles. The Beatles had a message they wanted to bring to the world: peace, love, joy, happiness, right? Like let's all just get along, right? So music isn't just a way to bring people together, but it's a way to get a message out that then changes the trajectory of humanity in some way, right? Let's get this message out and let's people feel it.
But you're taking that and using it in a therapeutic manner. Like it's this therapy, it's music therapy, but it's not even like you're listening to someone else's music. You're listening to you. So
You,
you're getting to see who you are through music. And that's what I love. That's like if you were a song, what would I sound like? If I was a song, what would I sound like? Is the most beautiful thing. That's so awesome. You so this is building out. People can find you on the website,
yep.
right? They can book so are you doing they're all in-person workshops, right?
No,
No,
most of
it's
them
some
are
of the
online.
most are online. So you
Yeah.
can be part of the workshop, go there. I'm gonna go there. I gotta figure this shit out because I want to hear what I sound like as a song. And I've got a lot of stuff that I still need to heal. But it's that clearing the past, clearing yourself in the present moment of your past trauma, of your past conditioning, and then that's phase one. Phase two is then using the technology of the ancient and the modern technology to create your future.
That's it.
That's brilliant. I love that.
Yeah. And it's bonding too. So we have Corvia Kids too. So
Yeah.
Corvia Kids is something I created just because my kids and I just started bonding over creating music. Once I actually got really good at it, I was able to help talk them, just ask them a few questions to create a song. And now it's like their favorite playlist because it's the songs they created. So one of the other tech products that we're coming out with is called Corvia Kids, which is really just like a parent-kid bonding experience.
Okay, you're gonna have to sign me up for that one too. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
cool.
I'm in on that.
Yeah.
Well, Eric, other than having your first name spelled perfectly, like, with the K, which is awesome, and being of Viking heritage as well, the Scandahooven you, man, you are doing such amazing work here. I think I want to have you back on the podcast once we see where this trajectory is going. We're going to stay in touch because I'm going to want to have you back on the podcast so you can tell me where this is going because my sense of direction is you've just scratched the surface.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean, dude? Like you
Yeah.
just scratched the surface and it's such powerful technology and it's healing and it's music. And I'm going to say it again. It's fucking cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Fucking cool. Man, thanks for being on the podcast.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the Viking Academy podcast. Make sure to leave us your honest feedback by leaving a review on Apple or Spotify and hit subscribe so you never miss an episode.